A federal judge blocked Texas from enforcing a law that allows police to arrest illegal border crossers on misdemeanor charges. The ruling came down hours before President Biden and former President Trump arrived in Texas for separate border visits. Mr. Biden in Brownsville accusing sabotaging a bipartisan border policy security. Trump to observe state border security operations. The ruling from Austin is a blow to attempts to stop illegal crossings. Joins us live with more on the ruling. Sean.
It is a blow for now because the judge's action stops the law from going into effect next week, and state leaders filed an immediate appeal. A temporary legal barrier is now in place, blocking a new Texas law that would authorize state and local law enforcement to detain anyone they suspect entered Texas illegally through Mexico. Judges convicted persons taken to border crossing. Federal Judge David S. a Ronald Reagan appointee the state.
The position Texas has taken about this law is we're not interfering with anything, we're just trying to help. These are federal laws, it's the law of the land, we're just trying to enforce the law of the land. And Judge Ezra rejected that and said no, enforcement of a law is something only the maker of the law can do. The federal government makes this law, the federal government chooses how, when, and who enforces it. Those are inseparable.
Governor Abbott issued a strong statement saying in part, Texas has a right to defend itself because of President Biden's ongoing failure to fulfill his duty to protect our state from the invasion at our southern border. Constitutional attorney David Cole says Judge Ezra surprised him by part of his ruling.
He also went a step further and said one thing more than what I might have expected him to, which is to reject Texas's argument that this is in response to an invasion, trying to take advantage of some old provisions in our Constitution about that. He said, nope, no invasion, and that's an additional holding that will probably get some additional scrutiny by the Court of Appeals.
Abbott, in his statement, writes, we will not back down in our fight to protect our state and our nation from President Biden's border crisis. Attorney General Ken Paxton immediately filed an appeal, which will push the judge's preliminary injunction ruling up to the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals.
There are judges on that court that are very interested in these ideas and the position Texas has taken about them. Of course, they're also full of what the Supreme Court says.
Now, the Supreme Court has said that states cannot enforce immigration law without the approval of the federal government. But since that opinion, the makeup of the court has changed. Texas is trying to challenge that. Whichever side loses at the Fifth Circuit, expect them to appeal to the highest court in the land. Clarice.
Sean, thank you.